The Spooktacular Stroll, CNY's not-so-scary Halloween experience for the family, is back. Walk through the half-mile trail in the Bewitched Woods at Long Branch Park in Liverpool every Thursday through Sunday in October from 5 to 9 p.m. Pack the car full of your little goblins. Admission is by the carload. Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital's Spooktacular Stroll is presented by Upstate Honda Dealers. Get your pre-sale tickets today at spooktacularstroll.com.
Radio.
You know what I love, Steve? Being a jerk.
Listen, dude, we've been doing a show for 90 minutes.
I had a chance to listen to the last call. We game plan for PJ Hall.
Uncle.
I have a list of guys I would never hang out with. Your name is right on the top.
Do you like the worst song bracket we're doing?
It's considerably better than the supplement bracket. Let's start with that.
I won a limbo contest.
Oh, my God.
Fran Brown joining us.
These guys are working their butts off. They expect to see that fan.
You want extra money just because you're North Carolina? I'm in all right
What
now.
an honor for you and Jordan to be next to me.
Every day.
This is Orange Nation.
There's music, there's fun, there's us. It's everything you could want all in one place.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte as we welcome you into a Wednesday edition of Orange Nation. Just about a little bit more than 24 hours away from
big game.
A very big game. 6-0 Pittsburgh, 5-1 Syracuse. We've got Mark Hayes, general manager of Orange United. He will join us here in studio coming up in about 15 minutes. It is Wednesday, which means our weekly SOS house call. We've got Dr. Kyle Plant set to join us today at 12:30 from SOS. And then in hour number 2, Jerry DePaula, sports writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. He will help us preview the Panthers. And then Dan, the owner of the Wildcats, will be here.
We'll preview pizzas.
1:30. Yes. Plus, your phone calls will be mixed in throughout. 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much. Do anything fun last night, Steve?
I worked. How about you?
I did too.
Yeah. Fran Brown Show.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I kicked the power out in the middle of the Q Sports talk.
That's not good.
Yeah, not my best work.
So what did that affect?
Just about 10 seconds. He was about to say the game plan for the game, and I kicked it out. And everybody's
Coach,
like,
I got you.
Everybody's like, what did he say? I was just trying to. He's like, first play of the game, we're going to run, and I kicked it out. And I was like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Here it is. There is a big game feel, though, to this.
Right?
And, you know, if you keep winning, they keep getting bigger and bigger, as you've pointed out. And, you know, I think that this game has implications for both teams with the national polls,
So
with
it's actually bigger
ACC
for Pitt
conference.
than-
It is. Yeah, no doubt.
They're
But
in
I mean,
the
it's
driver's
big for Syracuse, too, because if you're talking about having any sort, you've said multiple times, like after the Stanford game, and you're right, that everything is still on the table. But for everything truly everything to still be on the table,
Win this game.
you have to win this game, you know, and you may need some help. You're going to need some help. You're going to need either SMU or Clemson to lose if everything is on the table, or Miami.
Well,
but
you've got Miami.
You play Miami. So
But even if they lose, it still could come down to two one-loss teams, and you're fighting Miami for a spot.
Well, if Syracuse loses this game, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought you meant if Syracuse loses this game, because then they'd have two conference losses.
No.
But you're right. I mean, you just got to keep winning and
Right.
hope that it shakes out.
Don't worry about anybody else.
Right.
As I say that, do you think Syracuse, if both teams win, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, what would the sharps be? Is that right? The sharps? What would the sharps be on Virginia Tech, do you think?
Virginia Tech is hard to figure out.
They've
right?
been really good and really bad.
Yeah. I mean, they've already got 3 losses. They seem to be playing better football. It's a home game for Syracuse, first home game in a month. I mean, I would imagine SU would be ranked. You look at the losses. They lost that heartbreaker to Miami that, again, they probably should have won that game. They lost by 3 to Rutgers, and then they lost to Vanderbilt to open up the season at Vandy. And again, it's
Good loss.
yeah. That's a Vandy team that is better than most expected. So they're all one-possession losses. And their wins are all lopsided, but their wins are against Marshall, Old Dominion, Stanford, and BC. I mean, they crushed Stanford, at Stanford, which Syracuse obviously did not. I think it's a pretty even game. I would give Syracuse the slight edge,
3.5,
because it's
just
a home
like
game.
this one
Maybe
opened?
something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a field goal game. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not great at setting lines, though, Paulie, but yes, I would imagine SU would be a slight favorite.
All right. I think Syracuse is going to win this game tomorrow night.
I've kind of got that same feeling.
I feel like they're the better team. Pitt really hasn't played anybody that was good. I mean, Cincinnati has to be kicking itself for giving up a huge lead in the fourth quarter to them.
Yeah, that game was over going into the fourth quarter. And again, the West Virginia was up by double digits in the backyard brawl. So, they came back and beat Cincinnati by 1. They came back and beat West Virginia by 4. They were fortunate that Cal missed a field goal late to win that one by 2. And outside of that, they blew out Kent State, they blew out Youngstown State, and they beat a North Carolina team that's dealing with a lot of injuries.
So, here's my take right now. We've discussed this multiple times. You cannot come out like they did in the Stanford game. I think you got to jump up early on Pitt and just hold on.
Yeah, and we'll see if they learned from that experience, right? And we talked at length yesterday with Fran Brown about coming off the bye week and does it lend itself to slow starts. Both these teams are in the same situation, right? They played 2 Saturdays ago. They had this week off. Then the short week, again, relatively speaking, because you're playing on a Thursday, but they had the extra time to prepare. They're both in the same boat.
Yeah, and you can't give teams extra life, right? UNLV, they came out fast, but then you can't give the ball up in the red zone and then a touchdown on special teams.
Right. They gave up 2 of them in that game. And you go back to the Georgia Tech game. And that's something, we ran out of time yesterday with Fran, but I did want to ask him about, this team playing 60 minutes of football, because I know that he's said this in the past, that he's like, we haven't played our best football yet. And he's right. I mean, you look at even the games that they won, like that Georgia Tech game, they should have won that one by double digits. UNLV, you felt like they should have won by double digits. NC State felt like they should have won it by double digits. And they play well in spots, and then they might let a team back into it. And the players last night, there was player availability, every Tuesday, and the guys last night were talking about finishing and putting their foot down when they have a chance and finishing off an opponent. And you remember Fran Brown said that last week about the Mortal Kombat, the finishing move. They need to get better with that. That's one of the things that's been lacking right now is when you have an opponent on the ropes, knock them out.
Yeah, and it's as simple as maybe even, UNLV just getting a punt off.
Yeah.
In a situation where you pin them, you flip the field.
Or recovering an onside kick.
Yeah.
Which it's every once in a while you see one work, and it almost, cost him in that game. Let's go to the phone lines. We've got Mark in North Carolina, in New York City, checking in early today. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. I actually used to live in North Carolina, so I was Mark from North Carolina.
Oh, there you go.
Point.
Oh, I looked up and I saw it says NYC, and my eyes aren't great, so I saw NC, but I was like, no, Mark doesn't live in North Carolina. But there you go. Mark, what's up?
I appreciate the interview you had, Steve, yesterday with Coach Fran Brown. It kind of seemed to be the first acknowledgement that Trevor Pena might not be a go this weekend. 2 parts that I think we're really going to miss Trevor. Those 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 situations, it kind of always seems Kyle McCord looks Trevor's way, and Trevor is such a reliable target. So in those situations, I think we're really going to miss him, and I really hope someone steps up in those situations, whether it be Justice Ross Simmons, or I think Fran even alluded to Emmanuel Ross, the freshman, really coming along. So I'm curious to see what we do in those situations. And the second part is the punt return game. That's not something that we really have to talk about. Trevor's been pretty reliable back there. Just catching the ball, even the fair catches, I'm not saying an electric return, but I saw the depth chart. It said a true freshman, Davian Kerr, is the backup, and then I think Fran said LaQuinn Allen might be back there also. So I really hope on Friday we're not talking about the punt return game, because I really think we're going to miss Trevor in those situations. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's a good call, Mark. And you're right. It's an underrated part of the game. That is part of special teams, right? And we're talking about how special teams is going to be so important in this one. Right. Catch the ball, fair catch, let it, whatever. Don't fumble. Don't cause a turnover that allows the other team to, in this case, Pittsburgh, to capitalize.
And it's like I said, if you're not going to be the special teams of the days of Quentin Spotwood and, Kirby Dardar, just people shouldn't know about you. And that's just as good. Right?
Yeah, right.
If you're not great, just be invisible.
Just be average,
yeah.
right? And that's fine. And you don't have to be
don't
special.
Don't be bad.
Don't have to be special. You just be average is good enough when your offense and defense is good as it's been. He brought up third down. Are you aware of? I mean, we know that they're good on third down. Are you aware of just how good this team is in third down?
Yes, Steve. I told you.
Okay. Yeah.
That they were second in the nation.
Yes, 55%. We were talking about it yesterday in the office at Channel 9. I forgot that you and I had talked about it. That is something that, again, that comes back to your quarterback. And, Mark's right about he does look Trevor Peña's way a lot, but he's got multiple options. And so let's talk about Trevor here because, his status is very much in jeopardy. If he's not there, you never want one of your best players to be out. But if there is a position on this team where there is a lot of depth, it is the wide receiver position, and we've seen Kyle McCord spread it around quite a bit.
Correct. Yeah. And I was just going to say that wide receiver is the one position that this team has the depth that we know they can cover. Steve from North Syracuse led off Fran Brown Show last night asking about the depth, and because Syracuse has been in this position before where they're good at the beginning of the year and then not so great at the end because of injuries. But, yeah, I think wide receiver's fine. And if you need to throw the ball to a guy on third down, I think Arande's pretty good. And I think you can maybe try and get him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, go back to the Georgia Tech game. Game on the line after all of that nonsense with the onside kick and whatnot. It's a 3-point game. It's a 3rd and 9 or whatever it was. And who did he look for? He looked for Arande, and he got him. And, they moved the chains and were able to run out the clock with the long LeQuint run.
Yeah, because it looks like Trevor's not going to play, and you just they got to go next man up. We've heard every coach at Syracuse say that.
Yeah, I mean, the players last night were talking about next man up when it comes to, to Trevor and his situation. And Fran Brown saying on his radio show last night, dealing with a concussion. And, who knows with something like that.
Those are wonky.
Yeah.
You might feel great one day, and the next day your head hurts.
So, obviously, you hope that he's fine. You hope that he gets back to 100% as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, it's kind of like with the Marlowe situation, right? I mean, you're going to get him back at some point. You don't know exactly when. And in the meantime, you figure it out. And they'll have to figure it out on Thursday if he can't go. And, I'm sure they will. And you feel very confident in, think about if you go back 2 or 3 years ago, if you said, your best wide receiver is out, it would be the end of the world. Yeah. Now it's like, well, you got Kyle McCord and he's got 6 guys on this team averaging 2 or more catches per game. 6 guys. So, obviously, Trevor leads the team in receptions. He's 1 behind in receiving yards behind Jackson Meeks. But he's got a bunch of guys that he can go to that Trevor, he relies on, that he trusts.
Trevor, the ball going around has equaled out. Trevor just started out gangbusters.
Sure.
Those first 2 games were insane.
Right. And Jackson Meeks has come alive, and Arande's always been there. And
Arande had 1 game where he was invisible.
Yeah.
Which you can't afford to do now against Pitt.
Right.
So
it's going to be fun. We do have to take a timeout. We've got plenty of time to chat about Syracuse-Pittsburgh. 315-437-7644. We'll bring in Mark Hayes, General Manager of Orange United. He will join us on the other side. Then we've got our weekly SOS house call. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Fonte and 24/7 Sports Mike McAllister on the Quad 1 hour before all Syracuse football home games for the RomanoCars.com pregame.
Oh,
I'm tired. How'd you sleep last night, Steven?
Not well. 3 nights.
Oh, my God. You must be exhausted.
And I'm in danger of
never catching it. I think you're at the...
Right.
That damn commercial fooled me again.
Tonight's an important night to sleep because, if I don't sleep tonight...
You're going to be tired for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life, yeah.
Just like me. I've been trying to sneak naps, and it's not going well. I can't nap. My mind runs too much. It doesn't feel natural.
What's up, Mark?
Split the uprights at Pitt. It's not...
We could do. Are you here tomorrow?
No,
you're gone.
Probably won't be here.
Tomorrow? Me and Jordan.
Yeah, probably won't be here Friday either, unless we leave at 6 in the morning. So I gotta see if Tim is up for that.
Okay. You and I do keys? All right.
Friday's going to be a busy day for Jordan.
Why is that?
Going to have to do the show and then run a crunch game.
Oh, speaking of which, my boss wanted me to ask you if are we airing? He wanted to know, is the Yankee game airing on TK99?
Yeah.
And
when is it?
Friday.
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
No, I know. So his question was this. He said that he knew that there was a rule in the past that when the Yankees play in the World Series.
No, they got rid of that rule.
So it's going to be Susan and Sterling?
Yeah, I got an email last minute on that.
That was his question.
We were going to air the ESPN broadcasts on TK.
Right.
Also, if
Gotcha.
we didn't.
I got you. But the actual Yankee broadcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got an email on Tuesday saying that, hey, last minute rule change. And they're also allowing MLB TV subscribers to watch it on MLB TV, and they never do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like SYR used to have the Yankees, and they would have them all year. And then when the World Series came, everybody would have to listen to us to hear the World to catch the World Series. Should I give Steve crap for cropping me out of the interview yesterday?
What do you mean cropping you out?
You cropped me out of the interview on the video you posted.
What are you talking about? That was the video that aired. That was.
You didn't crop me out?
That was the part that got sent to me. Yeah. I did not doctor that at all.
Oh, okay. Where was I on the screen then?
Don't just assume that's right and look at me.
No, I did not. I did not.
Just assume that for the first time ever, we aired an interview without your face. Don't just assume that.
No, I did not edit that at all.
You can blame the phrase of Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah. No, that was just what got sent to me.
I thought Mark in New York City cropped me out of it too. He's like, "Hey, Steve, great interview with Coach Brown."
No, as a matter of fact,
did I die?
As a matter of fact, whenever I refer to it on Channel 9 or on our web, I say with Paulie Sibilia. I didn't do it.
All right, I believe. I don't think you know what you're doing, and I'll give that as the reason.
Find the actual soundbite that I pulled, and see how it looks. Because I didn't.
That's a good point. There's a really good chance that the camera shot that we go back and forth between is different. 2 minutes and 12 minutes into the interview.
Do you want me to show you? Do you want me to show you what got sent to me?
I actually do. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this is getting heated.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's a bigger mystery than crop circles.
What's going on in terms of Twitch production? Like,
Cropgate.
I'm not the guy to argue with.
I did not touch it. I downloaded it and I pushed it.
Cropgate.
Whatever. You have my word. I did not touch it. I did not.
You guys really need to join QSportsTalk.com. You miss all the fun. Orange Nation back with Paulie. And Weird Al is our artist of the day today.
This is not over. We will continue this conversation in the next commercial break.
I am doing Weird Al's 7 biggest Billboard chart songs. So this one came in at number 7 on the list. King of Suede.
Okay.
Just a Visa or MasterCard.
I'm wondering, he's a genius, by the way.
Yes.
Birthday in a weird way. It's weird that you can be a genius in a weird way, but he is.
It's part of his name.
Weird.
Right? Yeah.
The weird genius.
Yes.
But yes, it's his birthday today.
All right. This conversation is not over. We will continue in the next commercial break. But first, we have to get to our good friend Mark Hayes, general manager of Orange United, joining us here in studio to talk Cuse and NIL. It's always good to see. How are things going?
Oh, things are great. Thank you guys for having me.
You know, you look at the 3 big sports, right? The big 3, football, basketball, lacrosse. I can't remember a time. I mean, I can remember a time, but it's been a while since all 3 have been as healthy as they are right now. And I would imagine it's not a coincidence, right? I mean, you guys are working hard to help make that happen.
We're doing our part, but the coaches are out there recruiting. They're doing their job, and I think it's great that we have alumni as our head coaches with Coach Jack, Adrian Autry, Kayla Trainer, Gary Gate. I mean, what they're really doing is bringing back the old Beast of the East, that whole mentality, being able to really kind of progress the old traditions of Syracuse athletics. And I mean, we grew up here. We remember like we were going for national championships, big bowl games every year, and Syracuse expects to have a winner. So it's good to have that expectation and that optimism back.
And, specifically as it relates to football, how important is it for this year to go well, right? From an NIL perspective, and you got a new head coach, and you've got Kyle McCord, and I know that Syracuse has done a really good job acquiring these players. You need them to be good this year, right, to continue that momentum moving forward.
Oh, absolutely, and it's all about opportunities and what these kids that have come in have been able to do. But also, there's been some talent that was recruited before that stayed and are really paying off dividends. So. Just some of the names that we've been able to help with Orange United is Jackson Meeks, 2-time ACC wide receiver of the week. Yassine Willis, who's an incoming freshman who's starting to pay off really big dividends. And then Devin Grant is a safety. He's getting turnovers, interceptions. So he's been a really big piece of the defense this year.
All right, tell us about this 44 Experience Sweepstakes. What's this all about?
Absolutely. So we are doing a fun experience where a lucky fan will win 4 tickets to the November 2nd game against Virginia Tech. And you'll be able to watch the game with Emma Ward from women's lacrosse and Eddie Lampkin from men's basketball. They're both 44s. It's the 44th anniversary of the Dome. So we wanted to create a fun experience where you can kind of interact with these student athletes, get a little bit of a sense of their stories, what the seasons are going to be looking for them, since basketball and lacrosse are going to be kicking off shortly. And then you're going to get a unique experience in the new Club 44 seat. So excited about that.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. You'll be sitting in the Club 44 watching the game with them there and not out in the stands, or is it what is the Club 44 suite? So
it's their new orange seats that they have that they did this year with the new reseat, but it's kind of like their VIP section. So it'll be a VIP experience all the way from the parking lot to the end of the game.
All right, as you try to continue to grow this Orange United NIL, what is the process for somebody listening who maybe wants to get involved but they haven't gotten involved yet? What's the process? You could be, from what I understand, a monthly contributor. You can contribute annually. Walk us through the various options.
Yeah, so if you go to orangeunited.com, there is fan memberships, which you can sign up for $10.99 a month and up. We just did a really big partnership with some students at Newhouse, so we're going to have even more exclusive content, meet the team events, monthly and quarterly raffles. So signed men's basketball team, signed basketball, signed lacrosse stick from various sports. So there you can, as a fan and a season ticket holder, you can show your support there by doing all sports or a specific team, but you can also make one-time contributions as well. That will allow us to stay competitive.
And no donation is too small. I know you've got an option for students as well that want to get involved.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So we've been working with Ottawa's Army. They're the big student group over there. And a lot of the students are figuring out, hey, how can I get involved? I can't afford $10.99 in a month. I get that. But we did a $4.44 a month. So if they use their syr.edu email, they'll be able to get access to these things as well. So working on some other perks for the students.
You know, we all saw what happened at UNLV earlier in the year. How do you avoid a situation like that? And do you guys have contracts with the players? And it's not just a wink and a nod like it apparently was at UNLV.
Yeah, it's important to be transparent with these conversations and to make sure that everything's done in writing. So as soon as they have had their first class and I meet with them, they'll have a contract which they'll be able to have to sign, and then also understand what's also included in that, because you're not just getting money. You have to do some deliverables for it, whether it be an on-site appearance or a social post. One of the things that we're doing on November 9th, we're going to be with Kyra Wood and Chris Bell at the Waterloo Premium Outlets. They're going to be signing autographs at my favorite sports store. So excited about things like that. Kyra just did a grand opening for Community Bank this past Thursday, signed some autographs, took photos. So it's kind of getting that community feel, get people more engaged, and then there's also opportunities with the nonprofits as well.
You mentioned you can't meet with them until they attend class for the first time, and I've heard that before, that that's how NIL is supposed to work, right? You must know as they're coming in, though, kind of what the dollar figure is, I would assume. I mean, can you kind of walk us through the process of how to take Paulie's question, a wink and a nod, there must be a verbal agreement in place, but you must have a pretty good idea of what a player is going to command when they get in the door. Yes?
Yeah, I think before they even come in, you kind of understand just their I don't want to say market value, but
sure,
what you have available, because you also have a collective fund for a specific sport. So if you feel confident you're able to kind of meet those needs, then by all means we'll go forward with it if it makes sense. So.
Anything special coming up for basketball season?
Oh, so we got the backcourt hoops. We're going to be kicking back off. It's the 3 hoops in the backcourt. That's going to start.
I see every game.
Yeah, I see Paulie. I'm still trying to get him to shoot some hoops. I'll get some footage of that.
He's practicing every day in our break room.
I can only reach that rim. I can't shoot on a regulation rim.
I'll get the trampoline. You can do some dunks. So, but we have 3 hoops in the backcourt. It starts the Georgetown game on December 14th. Fans can pay $5, take 3 shots, and they can win prizes. And then just the basketball appearances that we'll be doing throughout the year as well. So a lot of exciting things.
Anything else, Mark, we didn't touch on that you want to get across to our listeners and viewers today about Orange United?
No, just right now, just make sure to go to spot.fun/Orange United 44 experience before Sunday to grab your raffle tickets, and then just be sure to sign up. I mean, if we're all in this area in Syracuse, New York, if everybody gets a $10.99 membership or whatever you feel comfortable doing, we're going to be able to be competitive. And now with the transfer portal coming up, it's important.
And I guess my last question is, it's not even really a question, more of a statement, just the stress and the importance of, we're already seeing dividends being paid, right? We're already seeing the benefits of this. It isn't a coincidence that football, basketball, lacrosse are in good shape. As you said, credit to the coaches, the players working hard, but there is this NIL element that you can't ignore. You may not like it, but it's going to be here and it's not going anywhere. And it's working. It seems like it's working.
It is working. And even for a lot of these Olympic sports, like men's soccer's got 9 scholarships. Kayla Trainer with women's lacrosse has 14. Not all student athletes are on scholarship. Right. So this is going to allow them to be able to pay for books and just be, I mean, these are kids at the end of the day. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there regarding NIL. So getting to people understand what it can do beyond just, hey, these kids are getting money. They're doing stuff for it and building their own personal brand.
No doubt. All right, Mark, keep up the good work. Thanks for coming in.
One more time, someone wants you to repeat the website.
It is spot.fund/Orange United 44experience.com. You can also go to Orange United NIL on Twitter and Instagram, and the link will direct you over to the site.
And we'll make sure we get that in the chat section as well. We can type it out, put the link in there so people have easy access to it. Mark, great stuff. We've got to take a time out. We'll get to our weekly SOS house call coming up next. You're listening to Orange Nation on ESPN Radio.
Thanks.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and Mark Capella says hi, too,
nice.
by the way.
Good.
So
you deal with him on a regular basis?
Yeah, so he actually called me earlier. He's like, you're going on the radio today. Tell them I say hi. I'm like, I will for sure. So
good. Awesome.
Hey,
thanks. Good
appreciate you guys. Hey, good luck in Pittsburgh.
All right.
Safe drive back.
Thanks.
It goes up for whatever reason.
Yeah, backwards door. What's up, Crop?
Okay.
I was going to wear a crop top today.
No, in all seriousness, okay? You have my word. I downloaded it, and I edited the soundbite, like in, out. I didn't do anything to the framing of the video, and I pushed it. Do you believe me?
I don't know. I don't know
You
what
don't
to
know
believe
if you
anymore.
believe me?
I don't know. I'm wondering if I even exist. You're embarrassed of me. You cropped me.
I would never do that.
All right. I don't. The only thing that gives me some faith in what you're saying is that I don't think you're capable of doing it.
I did not do that. And as I said, if you go to our web story, I said Fran Brown meets with Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia every week. Like, I always put your name in there. I did not crop you out.
I don't know why you would be hearing the commercials. Everything's set up right.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't even notice it.
You also tagged the wrong Twitter account.
What is it? Q Sports Talk.
You tagged the wrong one.
What do you mean?
You tagged the wrong one. Click on it. I call bullcrop. That's a good one. Alphabet guy. You were a hot mess yesterday. I see where I rank. Is it because I'm too handsome? He crapped on you.
Oh, you know why? Because ours has a underscore. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He crapped on you. Definitely did. This is bull crap. We'll get into Crapgate on the radio.
So, I don't even know how I didn't notice it at first. The lower third's not in it either. So it's clearly been altered by someone.
I did not do it.
I also just clicked on the file I sent you and watched the whole thing.
Oh,
I'm not saying you did it.
Crapalapaloose.
And it's never been like that before.
I swear to you, I did not do it.
I'm not.
So it's possible maybe that Mario had cropped it before I got to it.
Oh. Crapalapala. Mario. You're blaming Mario.
It's unlikely, though.
There was a second cropper.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. If it's unlikely that Mario did it, then
There was a
then something weird happened.
There was a cropper on the grassy knoll.
Because I clicked on the exact link I sent you. The lower third's not even in it, so I had to have been cropped.
Oh my
I
goodness!
don't know how to, I swear to you, I didn't do it. You have my word.
We'll talk at the 45. We'll bring everybody involved into this.
I want to drive to work right now and find out what happens.
Who's pulling this crop?
It's and do you normally edit them or do you normally post them?
I try to do one soundbite a week.
Because one thing I noticed is everyone you posted before this, it was a straight one shot of Fran Brown.
Right.
This one had the question.
Because
something's interesting.
The reson I put the question this time.
You put the question.
Sharecropper. Sharecropper.
I put the in and the out because I thought
Steve is a Croposaurus Rex.
Standing alone, I think he referred to him as he at the beginning, and I wanted it to be understood who he was talking about.
Steve's the dad on Webster, Cropodopoulos.
Hitting dingers at Cropacana Field.
2 hosts, 1 crop.
I'm sorry I didn't put the underscore on.
Crappie Longstocking.
Dr. Plan, do you guys ever experience impromptu cropping at SOS?
Hey, maybe one of the SOS doctors, they thought I was a patella tendon and they just cut me right out.
This is a scandal. I can add this to my fake Stephen Fonte slander campaign we're never going to make.
So we're doing true or false today?
Yeah, they want to do those.
I'm going to start a new show like The Masked Singer, but it's going to be The Masked Cropper.
I told them that. They said that, and I was like, can we talk about the Guardian cap? Because Tua not wearing it's ridiculous.
And then get into that.
Welcome back to Orange Nation with Paulie Sibilia.
Hey, Lucy, I'm home.
Weird Al is our artist of the day.
You're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Ricky.
All right, number 6 on the Weird Al chart, Ricky.
You're so fine, you blow my mind.
Let's go to our guest line as promised. Back-to-back interviews here as we welcome in Dr. Kyle Plant, family physician, with our weekly SOS house call. Dr. Plant, great to have you on. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We're doing great. We're going to get into some concussion talk here in a moment, and ask you some questions and some myth versus reality type questions. But we do want to start with Tua Tagovailoa, who has told the media that he will not wear the Guardian cap when he returns to action, citing a personal choice. Can you speak to, I guess, first of all, what the Guardian cap is, how much that equipment helps, and whether or not you think somebody in Tua's shoes should be using something like this?
Sure. Yeah, it's a very common question in my concussion clinic. People ask me this constantly about things like the Guardian cap or the Q collar or various other things. And they're all relatively new, ways of trying to reduce, either the impact of concussions or the risk, certainly. And so the Guardian cap, it's pretty popular, probably one of the more popular ones currently in use, and a lot of that's made kind of popular by the NFL. They publicly endorsed them, I think, in about 2022, maybe 2 seasons ago, for preseason training. It's a soft shell cover that goes over top of the football helmet, and the idea there is to attenuate head impact magnitude, lessen the impact experienced by the person wearing the Guardian cap. And so, I mean, the short of it is that there's not a ton of great data out there research-wise showing whether or not it is or is not effective in preventing concussion from these impacts. So the NFL has their own kind of data collection system, and so I know they have said that they've seen somewhere around a 50% reduction in these concussions compared to some of the previous years that they had seen their athletes wearing them in preseason. So I think it was 2018, 19, and 21 that they had compared to. But this data is not publicly available, out to be published. And so there are other studies from different academic groups around the country. A lot of it's laboratory-based kind of simulated impact testing. And so it's helpful but not the same, obviously. And they haven't had any good definitive data in either direction either, saying, whether or not these are actually useful in preventing concussion. But it's a very hot topic that hopefully is being, we'll see better kind of data sets come out here soon that we can look at. But I think one of the other things Lester talked about conditions as related to the use of these caps would be something called repetitive head impacts, or the RHI, right? And so maybe, we're looking at the reduction in incidence of concussion, but also just having these repetitive impacts can also have long-term changes in parts of your brain. And so, one of the other questions for these Guardian caps and some of the other devices is that does it reduce the amount of magnitude of these RHI kind of events, and whether or not that can actually help in a long-term perspective, because these RHI impacts are not they're not of high enough magnitude to cause a concussion necessarily, but if you think about it, the alignment with each play, every open field tackle, there's repetitive blows, essentially every down. And so, so I think there's a lot more than just the incidence of concussion that I think goes into some of these things too that we shouldn't overlook. That there may be, in the NFL, there's just so much velocity and so much speed that these people are tackling at, to where maybe they don't see that effect there, but Pee Wee football, with these kids, maybe it is effective for that group. So, like I said, the short of it is, it's still, the jury's still out.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at, his last concussion, the one against the Bills where he ran into DeMar Hamlin, it didn't even look like it was, that big of a hit. It just,
right.
He's got the history of concussions and led to another one. And obviously you hope that he's okay moving forward. All right. As we promised, let's get to a little fact or fiction, true or false, when it comes to concussion. So the first item is you need to be knocked out or lose consciousness to have a concussion. True or false?
False. So somewhere around 10%, I think 10% of concussions actually include a loss of consciousness. And it doesn't, importantly too, along with this is that having a loss of consciousness doesn't necessarily mean that the concussion was more severe than a person might have if they did not lose consciousness. Someone who maybe did not have a loss of consciousness could have a longer recovery or a more severe, course of this. And so it's certainly something we take into account. And every time you have a loss of consciousness, it is automatically defined as a concussion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be worse.
All right, the second one, you need to have a direct blow to your head to have a concussion, like helmet-to-helmet contact in football.
Also false. That's certainly common, that you see that it's the head-to-head contact, but really it's any type of mechanism that jostles your body and shakes your head. So you think of things like a whiplash in the car crash, people who fall down the stairs, or a big tackle, a big hit, to where maybe you didn't get head-to-head or you didn't hit your head on the turf after this hit, but you whiplashed your neck back. That can be enough to cause that type of motion kind of travel up towards and shake your brain.
I think this third one is interesting. You should keep someone with a concussion awake. don't let them sleep for a long period of time. I think that's something that would be.
I heard that as a kid all the time.
Right, that would be like a knee-jerk reaction. I think for most would say like, no, don't let them go to sleep. But that's false, right?
That is false. That was something that, like you said, years and years ago, that was kind of a rule because people were thinking, if you have really severe brain injury, you have a risk of falling into, a coma or having seizures or having, these kind of things. And you can see it with some really, really severe brain injuries that you see in motor vehicle accidents and things like that. But your typical concussion, that's more characterized as mild brain injury. There's no benefit in keeping it up. You're really just going to make their symptoms worse by waking the kid up every 2 hours, and it's really not going to provide any benefit. Actually, sleep is going to be helpful for them, especially in the early stages.
All right, what about somebody who goes to the emergency room or they go to urgent care and they have a scan of their head? Is it possible to see a concussion on some type of scan if you went to like the emergency room?
Right, yeah. A lot of patients I see come in and have already been seen in the emergency department, have already had, a CT scan of their brain. And there's no imaging modality that would effectively show a concussion itself. Certain imaging modalities can show brain injuries by way of brain bleeding and that kind of thing. But typically that's with the really severe head traumas that you see or certain select population on blood thinners or things like that, things that typically athletes are not on, certainly not contact sport athletes. They're not on blood thinners for obvious reasons. And so none of those imaging modalities are going to reveal a concussion. It's still a clinical diagnosis, something that we make based on the history, the physical exam on the patient, and what they're relaying as their symptoms. And so there actually are there's a lot of work going on right now in the research field around this with trying to find markers to do tests, even sideline tests. So they have saliva tests that are being worked on to try to detect certain biomarkers that are released during an acute concussion. The idea is to hopefully have that available. If we could have that available on the sideline, it takes the guessing work out, right? And so it's certainly something that's not ready yet, but it's something that is a very big hot topic in the concussion world.
Now, Dr. Plant, I think we all know most of the telltale signs of a concussion: headache, pupils dilated, light sensitivity, those kinds of things. Is it possible to have a concussion without any symptoms at all? Like you get hit and you feel fine, you don't have a headache. Can you still have a concussion?
Yeah, so it's typically the concussion is diagnosed based off the symptoms, and so eventually you'll have to have symptoms in order for that to be diagnosed as a concussion, based on what the hit looks like. If you can see it, if you're there to witness it, you can certainly suspect a concussion based on the mechanism, but a lot of, in some cases, the symptoms of the concussion won't show up for hours or even days, a few days after the injury. You have a Friday Night Lights, some kid gets hit and then, didn't really think much of it, maybe, had a little tired after a game, kind of normal, and ends up going to sleep, and then has Saturday, Sunday off, comes in Monday for practice, and the moment they start kind of getting going and getting their heart rate up, they start to have a ton of symptoms. And that's a very common scenario that you see. And so almost, but that's very normal. You can have those early feelings like being dazed, having some confusion, some headache, dizziness, memory loss. But some of the light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, irritability, mood changes, difficulty sleeping, that kind of stuff can be some of the ones that show up a little bit later.
All right, last one. True or false? You must be completely symptom-free to begin a return-to-play program for your sport or activity. True or false?
False. So that was always kind of a better be safe than sorry kind of way of going about it, especially with a pediatric population. You think about high school sports. They want them to be completely symptom-free before you start getting back into it. But research has come out showing that an early aerobic type activity, so getting your heart rate up a little bit, certainly within the first few days, if able, certainly, within the time period where your symptoms are somewhat manageable, we want you doing that. That increases the blood flow to your brain. It helps kind of wash out this what we call metabolic cascade of events that are happen in response to the injury, and it's been shown to reduce the duration of your symptoms from the concussion and reduce the magnitude of those symptoms that you're experiencing, especially early on. And so trying to get back out there and certainly not in any type of activity that increases your risk of having another head injury, but going for a walk around the track, doing those kind of things more than just sitting in a dark room and, hiding under the covers until you feel better. That's not what we do anymore.
Interesting. All right, great stuff. We appreciate you coming out. Very informative. Thanks so much for the insight, Dr. Plant. We appreciate it. Have a good rest of your week, and we look forward to the weekly SOS House Call next Wednesday.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks again.
All right. Dr. Kyle Plant, family physician from SOS. And with that, we'll take a timeout. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next. And then coming up at the top of the hour, Jerry DePaula will be on with us, sports writer from the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review, to preview Syracuse and the Pitt Panthers. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Is cropping something and forgetting about it the sign of a concussion?
I did not crop.
I remember I hit my head on a wall once. I fell backwards off it. And everybody's like, don't fall asleep. And I stayed up all goddamn night. So I was going to die if I fell asleep. Have you asked cropper number 2 if he's responsible for the crop?
No, I didn't.
Did you power wash me out of the video? That's a good question.
Sorry to bother you. Paulie is accusing me of cropping him out of the Fran Brown interview yesterday. Did you crop him out before I edited the soundbite? We were trying to figure out how it happened. No, because I left a very slim part of my question, and apparently on the video that we showed, it didn't have Paulie on it. You already zoomed in. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, yeah, I do know what you mean.
Crappie McCropperson.
So you did. So you zoomed it in. You zoomed it in so that it would air like that. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, very good. Mystery solved.
So you guys are cropping me
All
out.
right, thanks.
It's a conspiracy against me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, we're coming back. I was just curious.
Me
Thank you.
monsters.
See you. Bye.
I can't be on Channel 9, apparently.
No. So I can explain what happened.
Yeah. You don't want me on TV. I see how it is. There's been a memo put out. Welcome back to Orange Nation with Paulie Sibilia. Weird Al Yankovic. Smells like Nirvana. All right, let's get the radio listeners involved in what has happened off the air. What happened is yesterday we, as a show, our show, interviewed Fran Brown. You and I both asked him questions from what I recall.
Correct.
And it was posted on your social media, part of that interview.
Right.
But I was cropped out.
Okay.
And it's kind of offensive to me that I was cropped out.
So I now know what happened. I just talked to Mario. Okay. So I can explain what happened. I swore to you that I did not do that, and I didn't even know it until you said it today when I walked in.
You didn't notice when you
I
posted the interview that I was missing.
No, because if you see other things that we post at qsportstalk.com, you'll see that sometimes it's a one shot of me or one shot of you or one shot of us. There's two one shots. So what happened was Mario used a soundbite from the interview on the air of just Fran. Neither one of us. Like, we were both cropped out, right? Okay. So he zoomed in to make it a one shot to fit the TV screen. And what happened was when I pulled the soundbite, him talking about Trevor Pena. And so I backed it up a little bit to reveal part of the question so that the audience would know we were talking about Trevor Pena. What I didn't realize is that he had already zoomed it in, and so by zooming in the video, you were zoomed out.
Have you put a memo out at Channel 9 to keep Paulie off of TV?
I have not. And as a matter of fact, I always go out of my way to say Orange Nation Radio Show with my co-host, Paulie Sibilia.
Florida guy says, something smells crappie.
It was not on purpose.
I don't watch the news, because it makes me sad, but I will now have to watch because I feel like I am being
So on the news, Paulie, neither one of us are on there. It was just Fran Brown on the news. But when I posted it to social media, again, I extended the clip out.
Our Q Sports Talk logo is not on.
We give you credit. We put it in the corner. We give a courtesy. It says qsportstalk.com. We do that. We put that in the corner.
Okay.
And I always give you a verbal credit as well.
News Cropper 9. That's a good one. I like it.
I hate the fact that you didn't believe me when I told you that I didn't do it.
No, I said that I didn't think you were capable of doing it. I didn't say I didn't believe you. I just feel offended.
That's funny from Matt Harper. He says, comparing it to the Aaron Rodgers saying Mike Williams ran the wrong route. I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm just saying what happened. It was nobody's fault. Like, Mario did what he had to do for the show. If it's anybody's fault, it's mine that I didn't pay attention that it was already zoomed in. So it's on me, Paulie. I'm sorry. It was an honest mistake.
It's all right. It's all right, Steve. I wish I could crop you out of my life sometimes, too.
Right
it's
back
a
at
feeling
you.
mutual.
Right back at you. But this was not on purpose.
All right.
And I will be more careful next time.
Me monster. That's what you are. Speaking of, me monsters are terrifying monsters, right, Steve?
Yes.
Big heads. Very egocentric.
Careful.
Hard to get into the door at the radio station because your head's so big. You know what's not scary? The Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital Spooktacular Stroll. CNY's not so scary experience for the family. It goes from 5 to 9. There's Halloween-themed sections that the Spider Forest, the Skeleton Graveyard, Dinosaur Dungeon, Ghost Barnyard, and more. You can take pictures of your kids. Leave them fully in, your whole family fully intact in the picture that you take, and frame it.
You know, you asked yesterday about coming with me, and then you said, "Oh, I can't because I have a basketball game." The game is at 1. You could.
Yeah, I can't.
We could make it happen.
No. The game's going to go 8 overtime. There's food trucks, fall treats. Costumes are encouraged. Tomorrow is the last dog-o-ween, so bring your pup dressed up. Fridays and Saturdays are the family. For the family, it's $25 a carload. Spooktacularstroll.com. See, now, unlike if Steve was going to post a picture, you want to stuff the car. You want as many people in it as possible. You don't want to crop anyone out. You want to get all you can for the $24 or $25.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah. I would never crop you out of anything, Steve. I just want you to know that.
It was unintentional, Paulie. Do you believe me?
I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore, Steve. I don't know what to believe. I am shaken to the core. I think this has rocked all of Central New York, too. I think all of Central New York is now questioning everything.
You were sitting here with me when I called Mario, and you heard the conversation.
I didn't hear anything. I don't even know if we were talking to somebody. Could have been just faking the phone call.
Okay. It was
a staged
unintentional
phone call.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe anymore. It's Weird Al's birthday. I do know that. And we're celebrating him on Orange Nation.
We are. And we're going to talk Pittsburgh football on the other side. We're going to be joined by Jerry DePaula, sports writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, as we continue to preview the Orange and the Panthers. Hour number 2 kicks off next on ESPN Radio.
Crop coated. Run under the crack. You back the harvester right over them. No, they want me cropped out now. Yes, it's worse than Deflategate, Watergate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My co-host cropped me. I don't know how to go through. Like, the fact that I'm even here today is a miracle. Orange Nation with Stephen Fani is assistant Paul Sibilia. That's true. This is worse than Billy Eland. Gate. This is bigger than Fab Mello getting help on a test. I'm croppable. I'm very croppable in your life. That's not a thing I wanted to be ever. Croppable. It was staged, just like Donald Trump's McDonald thing. You know he didn't actually work there. Thank you, Dominic. This is worse than Diddy. Oh my goodness. It is. It is.
That's not fun.
This is worse than Epstein Island. You've shaken the world to the core, Steve. It is worse than Harambe. I feel like you killed me. It's bigger than OJ. It is. It is. How do you feel that you've moved? You're like public enemy number 1 right now, Steve. Your good guy persona has been affected by this. You would never crop his rocks. That's correct. You like rocks better than me, Steve. I'm just a piece of shish to you. That's a rock joke. Worse than Wide Right. It's going to be the top story with David Muir tonight. Well, Wow. I didn't know that.
He's number 1.
Oh, hold on. My phone's ringing. Hello, Mr. Hannity. No, I don't want to come on today. Wow, Sean Hannity wanted me on his show tonight. No, I don't think I can talk about this. I need more time. Thank you. Oh, hold on. Oh, Joy Behar, how are you? I don't think I can come on The View. I'm not ready to talk. Thank you. Tell Whoopi, send Whoopi my love. Thank you. The crop of the century. It is. Oh, hello. It's the ghost of Walter Cronkite. Hello, ghost of Walter Cronkite. Yes. Bigger than Watergate. Thank you. I can't come on. Welcome back to Orange Nation. Hour number 2 underway. Paulie and Steve with you. Amish Paradise, Steve.
As I walk through the
Weird Al's birthday, so we're playing all Weird Al bumps today. It's a great day to be an American.
All right. As promised, we're going to get down to business here as we kick off hour number 2 and talk some Pitt Panthers football with Jerry DePaula, sports writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. Big one tomorrow. 6-0 Pittsburgh, 5-1 Syracuse. Jerry, thanks so much for coming on. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing up in Syracuse?
We're great. And, this has got a big game feel to it. And, I guess from a Pitt perspective, as we look at the first half of the season, 6-0 start. They've had a couple close calls, had to come back against Cincinnati in a game that they looked, dead and buried, but rallied in the fourth. They came back against West Virginia. They win a close one against Cal, thanks in part to a missed field goal. What do you make of this 6-0 start? Just how good do you think this Pitt squad is?
Well, I'm not sure. They surprised me a little bit actually surprised me a lot, by starting out 6-0. We went into this season, some of the people who followed the team closely went into the season thinking it was a new offensive concept with Cade Bell running a hurry-up, no-huddle offense, with Pat Narduzzi firing his entire offensive staff. Except for the wide receivers coach who ended up going to the Patriots anyway, and 5 defensive starters, leaving via the transfer portal. I thought it'd be a year in transition, and if they were going to win 6 or 7 games, I think that would be a good season. 8 would be a great season. Now, when they're 6-0 with 6 games left, if they win 8 games, they end up winning 8 games in the regular season, that would be a total disaster because that means they would be 2-4 during the second half of the year. So the expectations have been raised. But I tell you, the one thing about this team that makes me think that maybe it's a little bit sustainable is that they have great resilience and great leadership. They have guys who've been with this program for 5, 6 years. Brandon Georgia, middle linebacker, has been around that long. And Gavin Bartholomew, tight end, has had opportunities to enter the transfer portal. He had schools contact him in the offseason. He turned them all down to come back to Pitt, even though Pitt really hasn't made a priority of throwing to the tight end over the years. Gavin came back anyway because he appreciates what he's gotten here at Pitt, and he appreciates the brotherhood that he has been able to build with his teammates. I think that at some point, and maybe it's tomorrow night, at some point Pitt's going to hit the wall, and they're not going to be able to keep winning these games like they have been. They could have lost to Cincinnati because they were down big in the second half. They could have lost to West Virginia for the same reason. They could have lost to Cal if the kid doesn't kick a divot up while I was trying to kick the winning field goal there in the last 2 minutes. So yeah, you're looking at a team that very easily could be 3-3 right now. But instead they're 6-0. And again, it does have a big game feel to it. But every game's going to have a big game feel to it as long as Pitt keeps winning, because right down the road here in 2 weeks, I think it's election night. Actually, is going to be the first college football committee playoff rankings. And if Pitt can win its next 2 games against Syracuse and SMU on the road, I really think Pitt's going to be among those 12.
Yeah, I mean, that SMU game looms large, especially if Pitt can take care of business. We know SMU's undefeated in conference play right now, as is Pittsburgh. Syracuse sitting there with that one conference loss to Stanford. You mentioned this veteran leadership that Pitt has. Their quarterback's a young guy, right? Eli Holstein. He's thrown for over 300 yards, 4 out of the 6 games. What has impressed you the most, I guess, about the way he's come in and been able to run the show?
His confidence. He really understands, that the only way to be successful in college sports, football, and college athletics is to be confident and be convicted in what you're doing. And, the one throw he made in the West Virginia game during the comeback, I think it was the touchdown that put them in the lead in the fourth quarter. Day Reynolds, their wide receiver, was covered by 3 guys in the end zone. Well, Eli Holstein, put it up anyway, put it up in the air nice and high, just like Russell Wilson did the other night for the Steelers. And it came down right in Day Reynolds' arms for a big touchdown, even though he was covered by 3 guys. So very easy could have tipped the ball away, but he trusted Day to go up and make that play, which he did. And as a redshirt freshman, he's gained the confidence and the trust of his teammates. And I think that's just as important as any kind of athletic ability he has, and does have great athletic ability. He throws the ball really well. He runs very well. He got himself out of a lot of jams in that West Virginia game, just with his legs, especially in the red zone there late in that game. We never thought that he would win the job from Nate Yarnell. But Nate Yarnell came back. He had started 3 games for Pitt in the past. Nobody knew anything about Eli Holstein other than the fact that he was recruited by Alabama and went to Alabama. So he does have a lot of ability, and he more than his ability, I think, is what's between his ears. I think he's a smart kid and a kid who knows how to command a huddle. And that's just as important, I think, as anything else.
These 2 programs know each other awfully well going back to their Big East days, and it's, relatively even series over time, but it has not been an even series in Pittsburgh, as you well know. 10 straight trips Syracuse has gone there, 10 straight trips they've come away empty-handed, haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2001. What do you make of this streak, and is it a storyline at all this week, among the Pitt players and coaches, the fact that they have just dominated Syracuse in their own building?
Well, Pitt and Syracuse are similar programs, I think. Pitt has had its troubles up in the Carrier Dome, or what's it called now?
JMA Wireless Dome now, yes.
JMA Wireless Dome. So Pitt has had their problems in that dome over the years. So, and they've been fortunate enough to win here in Pittsburgh every time since 2001, which is not a theme actually that it came up at all. If I'd mentioned that to Pat Narduzzi, he would just stuff it off by saying, "Hey, this is a different team. This is a new team." One of the things he did talk about, though, was last year's game at Yankee Stadium, and that was a game where Syracuse really embarrassed Pitt, really embarrassed their run defense. Syracuse lined up. Was Dino Babers either last game or next to last game? And before he was fired, he lines the tight end up in Wildcat formation. And I think the number was they ran for 356 yards on the ground against Pitt. And that's the one thing Pat Narduzzi takes pride in, is his run defense. And Syracuse made Pitt's run defense look bad. And I think that's something that's been brought up. We've talked about it with players and coaches this week. They understand it. They remember it. And Narduzzi certainly does, because he really, felt like that was not the kind of Pitt team that he wants to put out on the field. And I think that tomorrow night he's going to try and gain a measure of redemption. I don't want to say revenge, but I think redemption is the word, because last year Pitt was 3-9, and a lot of people are embarrassed by that. And they keep saying, that wasn't us, that wasn't us. Well, here's their chance to prove it, and that's actually the theme of this season. You think you're good, okay, we'll see. Go out there and prove it. And tomorrow night just resumes that process.
Yeah, two very different teams from what we saw last year. You know, Pitt's off to a 6-0 start. Syracuse has a new coaching staff and a new quarterback. Of course, you know, last year when they played, Garrett Schrader was hurt, and so they had to go with, you know, Dan Villari and play the Wildcat. This year they've got Kyle McCord, who's, you know, looking like he may play on Sunday someday in the NFL, especially the way he's playing this year. What stands out to you about Kyle McCord and this offense that is, you know, second in the country right now in passing yards?
Well, Narduzzi made that point that he believes that Kyle McCord is going to be an NFL quarterback someday. Rylan Gandy, the Pitt cornerback, talked about how McCord is the best quarterback they played so far. Yeah, I don't know if he's better than anybody else they're going to see down the road. He may be the best quarterback in the ACC, maybe short of Cam Ward at Miami, who's a Heisman Trophy candidate. But Ward throws the ball well. He throws it everywhere. He throws it on a line. He's as good as any quarterback in the country. What is he, number 2 in the country in aerial yards, 365 yards per game on average? That's pretty incredible, you know, after half the season. So I think that's going to be the difference in the game, actually. I think the Pitt's secondary, you know, it has been okay. They're experienced at safety, inexperienced at cornerback. So I think maybe a guy like McCord could take advantage of that. And I don't want to tell you guys what to do, but I think I might take those 5.5 points, take Syracuse in those 5.5 points, and see if I can make a few shekels.
Yeah, it was that surprised us. I think it opened at like 3.5, and then immediately went up to 6, and we were thinking the same thing. We're like, wow, that's quite a big point spread. Another thing to keep in mind about this Syracuse offense: second in the country right now in third down conversions. How's the Pitt defense been in terms of getting off the field?
Not bad, but not great. You know, the defense, you know, really hadn't played all that well until this past game against California when they had 6 sacks. And that's one of the things that really brought the team down last year. They weren't getting to the quarterback enough. And they've emphasized that over the years. They were averaging around 49, 50 sacks a year for the previous 3 or 4 seasons before last year. And even before this past game, they weren't getting to the quarterback that much, but they got 6 against Cal. Jimmy Scott had defensive end starting for the first time, got 3. Linebacker Braylon Lovelace got 2. And the guy that Syracuse really has to worry about is Kyle Lewis, the outside linebacker. It was great, almost sprinter speed. You know, when they unleash him after the quarterback usually gets in trouble. In fact, Narduzzi made the point. He says maybe we should blitz him even more than what we're doing. You know, he's not going to give away any secrets, but I think, you know, the guy is athletically inclined as Kyle Lewis, and it's a great nose for the ball. He has 2 big interceptions. One nailed down the West Virginia game at the end of the game. I think Kyle Lewis, number 9, might be the guy that they try to unleash on Kyle McCord and maybe make him a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket.
There's been a lot of injury talk around here regarding this Syracuse team. What about the health of Pittsburgh? How healthy are they going into this game? Any injuries we should be aware of?
Well, you know, Pat Narduzzi, he doesn't talk about injuries. I've asked him about injuries. You know, I've been covering the team now for every year he's been here. It's his 10th season, and every time I ask him about injuries, he rolls his eyes, lowers his head, and says, "Jerry, you know better than that. Don't ask." But I'll tell you this: in the California game, they lost their left tackle and their left guard, Branson Taylor and Ryan Jacoby. They got hurt early in that game and did not finish. And again, because of the change in the schedule, we really didn't get a chance to see practice. And we really don't see practice anyway. You know, we haven't watched an 11-on-11 practice at all. You know, we get to watch the first half hour of practice, you know, when they are mostly just stretching, and going through individual drills. So we really don't see what happens when they, go 11-on-11. But if they lose those 2 guys, and those 2 guys, Jacoby and Branson Taylor aren't playing, I think that could be a problem, because even Narduzzi said after the California victory, he said that maybe the offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, maybe, toned things down a little bit, didn't try to do as much, with his quarterback, because maybe with backups at left tackle and left guard, he didn't think they could hold up. So those guys aren't playing. I think it's a big problem for Pitt.
All right, last question, Jerry. And you alluded to it a moment ago with the 5.5 point spread, but how do you see this game playing itself out? You think it comes down to a field goal or two?
Yeah, I think it will. And Pitt has a great field goal kicker in Ben Sauls. He's 10 for 10. And he kicked one from 58 yards, tied a Pitt record. And Acrisure Stadium is not really known for, being a friend of kickers because of the way the winds swirl off the rivers here. I think Pitt's going to win it. But I tell you what, I think I take the 5.5 points because I can see Ben Sauls winning it with a 50-yard field goal at the buzzer. But it might be the way things go because Pitt is the kind of team that's not going to blow anybody out. They're going to play a lot of close games, maybe even get a little bit lucky. And with the resilience they have and the leadership they have, I think they can, pull it out. But it certainly won't be easy.
Yeah, that is one area where Pitt seems to have a huge edge in this matchup is the special team. Syracuse has really been struggling with that particular unit throughout the season. Jerry, thanks so much for the time. Great insight, and enjoy the game tomorrow, and hopefully we can catch up again during basketball season.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much. Take care.
All right, Jerry DePaula from the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review joining us here on Orange Nation.
He said gentleman.
He did.
Not gentleman.
He did.
He didn't crop me out, even though I didn't ask a question.
You could have. You could
I cropped myself out.
You can chime in at any time. We are going to take a timeout. We got Dan for the Wildcats set to join us in about 15 minutes. Today's business coming up next on ESPN Radio.
Brought to you by Davidson Ford of Clay and Davidson Chevy of Rome.
On the pulse of the Orange, ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
How do we do on our picks this week?
I don't know.
I nailed I said it wasn't one of our picks, but I nailed Georgia would win. Or did we crop that out of the show?
What did you say?
Never mind.
No, you're just taking shots at me, so I'm trying not to pay attention.
I wasn't taking a shot at you. I was saying I was right about the Georgia-Texas game.
Good for you, Paulie.
Ew. What was that?
You're poking the bear today. You know that I didn't do it maliciously. I feel bad, and you're just piling on.
Come on. Wait, I'm being mean. He cropped me out of an interview.
No, I didn't. I didn't, though. It was by... Are they gone? Thank you.
Cropgate. I didn't like those anyways. No, I'm not a fan.
You were yesterday. You just said it to play along?
Yeah. There's the hint of sweetness on it. I don't like. Yeah. I wish I could kick Steve in the face right now. I'm very sure. Oh, good point. It's okay. I'll get over it. Everything will be okay.
I'm going to go fill up my Yeti.
I do want to crop the honey out of the chips. Oh, don't trip. That could have been a month off right there. Steve almost tripped. I hope he's okay. I didn't laugh. He would have laughed at me. He did just try and crop himself out of being able to walk. Steve's stumble will be cropped out of the replay. I would assume that. Crop that cord out of Steve's way. That's a good point. You just threw something at me. You're vicious. Your children must be terrified of you. Steve fishes for crappies. This will be over. This will blow over. I'll get over it.
I'm not going to see you again until Monday.
Well, you wouldn't see me in any of your clips either, so. Will you be at the? Oh, you're not going to the basketball.
My boss has a follow-up question. Will the World Series air here as well? Just
I'm not going to, so we force people to TK. Do you wish it was COVID again so you wouldn't have to be in the studio with me? Is he the one that is your boss? The one that sent out the memo saying Paulie can't be on News Channel 9?
No, he loves you because you said it was okay if he came on the show after he retires.
Yeah, I let him on ours, but he sent out a memo saying.
Did he ever come on the show?
No, he's going to come on though after he retires.
Oh, he's not retired.
He's coming in December. Oh, I got to talk to you, Jordan. Latavius Murray wants to come on to talk about a coat drive he's got. He wants to come on either tomorrow or Friday. Is there a better day over one of the other? Probably Friday because the SU game tomorrow.
I mean, we have a couple guests Friday, and we'll have game reaction. My hunch would be right now all we have is Matt Park tomorrow, so I don't hate the idea of Latavius tomorrow. But
what time would be good? 1?
1 would be cool.
Okay.
Like a Surgeon was his third highest Billboard charting song, Steve. This is a gem.
I do like this song.
Why? Because it's about cutting?
Funny. I'm trying to figure out what's number 2 because I would assume Eat It is number 1. Is Eat It number 1?
I don't know. Why are you trying to ruin the...
I don't know.
I'm not ruining anything.
I don't know.
I'm wondering because I knew this would be top 3 and Eat It's got to be top 3. I'm wondering what the other one is.
Settle down.
Is it the Jeopardy one?
Just settle down.
Okay.
It's not. I Lost on Jeopardy is not number 2.
You don't think
Come
so?
on, everybody
No,
just
but it is funny when he wins the Rice-A-Roni.
Please calm down.
Oh, you know what it is? It's the
Steve, I'm shutting you.
The Coolio one.
No, we already did the Coolio.
Oh, we did?
One. Stop trying to ruin the segment.
I'm not ruining it. I'm
counting
guessing.
down.
I'm playing along.
This isn't the match game.
All right. Jordan's here for today's business. It's brought to you by Grossman St. Moore CPAs.
Oh, you just cropped me out of the interview. What website would you be on, Jordan?
You know, you just sit back, relax, go to GSACPAs.com, let them handle all the numbers and financials for you and your business. Some would say you can crop yourself out of the equation and you can just let them handle it.
Yeah, they'll crop the bad investments right out of your life.
How did this become a thing? Like, this is ridiculous.
Because you know what the worst part? I wouldn't have noticed if you just put the damn underscore in.
I didn't know. Why do we have an underscore? Why do we have an underscore?
Because I reported at Q Sports Talk 50 million times, and they won't get this stupid account with the generic baseball bat, white background, no post having off of X, Twitter. Elon, do something. I'm begging you.
Okay.
You know what's funny is
I haven't gotten mad about that in so long.
At the office yesterday, everybody's like, he cropped you out. Like everybody was, look, he cropped you out.
It was unintentional.
They were poking the bear. Are you going to stand for that? And I was like, no, I'm not. I am also a part of this show. Thank you.
I'm sorry for yelling. I forgot how much we've done okay. We're nearing 5,000 followers, and I totally forgot about that stupid underscore. And
yeah, so did I, obviously.
All right. Let's talk NFL. I'll start there.
He cropped out the underscore.
DeAndre Hopkins deal finalized to send him over to the Chiefs. Just a big couple weeks of wide receivers being sent from place to place. Hopkins obviously on a struggling Titans team who's now relying on Duck Rudolph to lead them to victory with Will Levis injured and addicted to throwing interceptions. Titans would get a conditional 4th-round pick. Trade is expected to be completed and finalized today. How big of a deal is that? DeAndre Hopkins is a great receiver, but he's not the speed demon, shifty guy who I'm used to seeing in that Chiefs #1 role.
It doesn't matter, and I hate it. And the Bills just played him, and he's like a shell of himself, and he's going to go to the Chiefs, and he's going to be great. And that's what's going to happen.
And
because Patrick Mahomes is there, and everything that all these moves that they make, it always turns out in their favor.
They'll hold #1 in our power rankings.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I hate it. I hate this move for everybody else.
It reminds me of, I think Draymond and might have been Steph Curry just came out within the last few days and said something about other teams don't want to send them assets and help them. Why are people not doing this to the Chiefs? How do you give them DeAndre Hopkins? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. I mean, and they'll find a way to make him good again, right? And yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
All right. NBA last night, opening night, Knicks Celtics, Lakers Timberwolves. We saw the Bronny LeBron connection on the court for about 3 minutes. And in that span, I think the Lakers lost like 8 points of their lead. They ended up winning. But I want to talk about the Boston Celtics, who last night, with about 9 minutes left in the game, had a massive lead over the Knicks and were 1-3 away from breaking the single-game record for three-pointers held by the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Boston went on a historic streak, missing 13 straight three-pointers, including 3 air balls, and then dribbling out the clock with I think it would have been 13 seconds left, maybe 10, when they got the turnover. If you're just going to up 20, shoot a bunch of threes and miss them all, at that point, you got to take the last shot, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not a good guy for dribbling out the clock. You just tried to shoot 13 threes on their dome, winning by 20.
That was
Celtics,
insane last night. It was insane how well they shot the ball.
Statement made, game 1.
Who was it? It was Josh Hart after the game said, the league better test those guys. All of them. I mean, it was 1-3 after another. It was unbelievable. It really was.
Solid game. Okay. It's another edition of Let's Get Sound Bites in of coaches saying bad words because there's a bleep. UConn, Wake Forest came down to the wire. There was a call that UConn coach Jim Mora didn't like in the loss, and he did the same thing that Syracuse fans have been doing for a while. He let ACC officials have it.
I'm proud of them for fighting back. We've got to make sure that we put ourselves in a position where it doesn't come down to one play where an ACC team makes a call against an independent. And that's up to us to play better at the start of the game so it doesn't come down to that call, which was holding and PI. And that's what I told them, and we'll come back and we'll fight. So it's on us to play better earlier. But it'd sure be nice if it was a level playing field.
And then later he was asked to expand, and he said, I think 3 times, it's ACC versus independent. There's your answer. It's effing ACC versus independent.
ACC officiating's been bad, and I don't think it's against anybody. Well, maybe Miami gets a call here and there, but I don't think it's against anybody. I just think it's bad officiating.
Remember, the people were saying that they saved Syracuse against UNLV, even though that was a hit to the head.
So it's interesting you bring up the fact that they're independent. There's no repercussions for him, right? In terms of criticizing the officials. He can
That's a great point.
He can say whatever he wants.
Oh, being an independent head coach must be the best.
I don't know if it's the best, but that's one area that's one thing you don't have to worry about.
You don't have to share your bowl money with anybody either.
Right. Exactly.
But you don't get any TV money, do you?
Yeah, but you just get to let off some steam after the game. Are you kidding me? What a feeling. I have a sort of kicker, unless you have a kicker.
I have a good kicker.
Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give you a
battle
bad
of the
kicker.
kickers.
Do you guys, I don't know what your response this is, but do you guys remember Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes. Loved that show.
And you remember Frankie Muniz?
Yeah. The mom was very, much like my mom in that show.
Okay.
Yeah. Frankie Muniz will be a full-time NASCAR truck driver for the 2025 season. He's kind of, he's been dipping his toes in the water for years, and he said it was a long process, but that's just a crazy career switch. I'm never going to watch a NASCAR truck race. There's a chance I might watch one just to see Frankie Muniz drive in the car.
He's going to finish in the middle of the pack the whole time.
Nice.
Thank you.
Do you think they could get any new fans from Frankie Muniz? No. Come on, dude. You watch NASCAR races unless you
no.
love it because you bet money
Unless
on it
The
or because something
Rock-
crazy is going to happen.
Unless The Rock's driving the truck.
Dude, it's Frankie Muniz.
Nobody even knows who he is.
What?
Nobody knows him. They know him as Malcolm.
People know his name.
No, they don't.
No?
No.
I think you're both right. I think somewhere in the middle. I do, and I'm
I get it. I get it. I see what you did somewhere in the middle.
Not even trying to be funny.
Somebody's gonna tune in and be like, Frankie Muniz is dry. I'll see what if he's really bad. Maybe he just goes off the course completely.
Dateline Guelph.
Where's that?
Canada.
Really?
Yes.
None of it's in Canada.
Butter continues to be a hot commodity for thieves in Guelph, with 2 large thefts reported last week. Over $936 in 3 cases of butter was stolen from a store. There have been 7 large-scale butter thefts in Guelph in the last 10 months. It's unknown if the incidents are related. I would assume they are.
Does it give a reason as to why?
No. Apparently...
They don't even know if it's related.
Apparently they're selling the butter on the black market.
Or using it to make something.
Oh, cookies? Butter cookies?
Something
Butter balls?
something that's lucrative.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chef stealing the butter, right? To save money.
But is there something like drug related that would involve butter? I don't know. I'm asking you.
Everything's better with butter.
You know what this reminds me of? I have a friend who is from Israel, and he's back in town. He told me somebody got in trouble because they smuggled a bunch of fruit roll-ups over there, and were selling them out of a suitcase for like $5 a pop. And that's what this reminds me of. Like someone's stealing butter to control the butter market.
I'm going to have to go back and watch Breaking Bad and see if he's throwing butter in any of his concoctions.
Huh.
What could
there's got to be a reason, a good reason.
Are they building a butter groceries like the state fair?
I think because groceries are expensive now, and you can steal the butter and then sell it for cheaper than people are actually paying for it.
No way.
There's
no way there's a butter black market.
Yes, there was a chicken wing black market a couple years ago.
What's it called? I can't believe it's cheap butter.
I need a follow-up on this. I know you generally don't follow up.
Guelph?
Yeah, I need a follow-up.
I had to Google Guelph to learn how to pronounce it.
Where is
because
it?
It's spelled
Wait a minute.
Guelph.
Where is it?
Aaron
Canada.
Solomon might know
I don't know,
something about
Steve.
this.
I don't.
Okay.
Aaron Solomon might know about the butter theft.
Well, right. Yeah, we might have to get him on.
To talk about the butter theft?
It's a slippery situation.
Stick to sports.
It's in Ontario.
Okay. I couldn't point Ontario out. Yeah, inflation, Jen's right.
But why just butter, I guess, is what I'm asking.
I don't know. Don't you remember there was a huge chicken wing theft in Syracuse?
Because it's versatile. You can use the butter to grease the windows to sneak
I don't think
out.
there was a chef stealing all the chicken wings so he could use them. But he was probably buying them from some guys with a chicken wing in their trench coat.
How do you find a black market for like butter?
I don't know. But there's laundry detergent's another thing that people steal a lot of to sell for cheaper.
Do you just like grassroots door to door sell it? Do you like put flyers out? Do you,
Craigslist?
Like I don't know. Like maybe Facebook Marketplace?
Is Guelph anywhere near the Land O'Lakes?
If you must know, it's between Toronto and Hamilton.
Okay. I can't believe it's stolen butter, Kevin Liverpool says.
It's not that far from Buffalo. Like, we can go take a road trip there if you want.
Don't go there if you need butter.
Yeah, right. It's all gone. Or you can get it for cheap. You just got to know the
and
right
then we
people.
could bring it back and make a fortune.
Oh, Prince Odie says maybe the state of New York is stealing.
For the butter sculpture.
Yeah.
Oh. You might be onto something. All right, we got to take
I
a
think
time
there's
out.
a black market for everything.
You do?
Yes.
Sports talk radio?
No, but like anything in the store, anything people purchase.
Baseball cards.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure people steal baseball cards. We watched a theft of it. Like that, someone's buying those stolen cards.
Right. Well, I said that as a segue into our next segment because Dan from the Wildcat is here, and he will join us here in studio on the other side.
He uses all purchased items at the Wildcat.
Legally purchased.
Yeah.
Important distinction. Legally purchased.
All right. Dan from the Wildcat joins us next on ESPN Radio.
Parquet.
Call from the New York State Fair director, hey, you guys gotta stop talking about this.
Maybe marginalized people can't afford it. Yeah. I just made myself laugh.
I just got an email from Syracuse Production, and it says something about a political ad, and now I never get emails from there. Wait, turn my mic up.
It is.
Turn my mic. There's a political ad. It might get a little spicy, but
Paulie Sibilia was seen kicking puppies, stealing from old ladies, microwaving fish at work, abusing his employees, stealing office chairs, telling unfunny jokes, touching the ice tray with his bare hands.
We should play this on the air.
Mistreating his co-host, playing terrible songs, not shaving, visiting Disney World by himself. What kind of a creep does that? Paulie Sibilia wants to be in charge of ESPN Radio. Can we really afford to make Paulie Sibilia operations manager? The campaign to reject Paulie Sibilia is responsible for the content of this ad. Vote for anyone but Paulie Sibilia. I'm an asshole and I approve this message.
I need the audio of that. Let's play that.
also better have done this while he wasn't on the clock. Is your email open? Your Galaxy email?
Yeah.
I'm gonna email it to you.
Oh no. Yeah, I can do it.
It's too late. It's too late.
I said the same thing to her. I said I love the sweater.
There is a butter theft going on in Canada right now. Do you find that strange? People are stealing butter. It's like the chicken wings from back in the day, right? Is butter expensive right now?
I'm sure everything's expensive. I'm sure it's more than it was 3 years ago.
At a certain point, you just bite the cost and figure it out.
It is what it is.
We're trying to figure out
They wouldn't be stealing it if nobody was buying it. I don't, like I said, I don't think it's a chef that's out there stealing the butter.
But I just wonder if there's a use for it that we don't know.
Like something that might be illegal.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, yeah, but
I think can't butter be used for energy?
Is
Let's give Paulie a couple sticks of butter and see how
butter
much
in
out of it.
drugs?
That would make sense.
No, I think it's nobody was making. I don't. People weren't making drugs out of the chicken wings when they were stealing them. They were selling.
Well, chicken wings. There were people going around in Syracuse, restaurant to restaurant, with a van full of food. Like, do you want
1,000 pounds of butter can create enough energy to power a farm for 3 days.
Okay, so farmers they're not stealing that much butter, Steve.
3,000 pounds.
Why is it so? Why do you guys think it's weird that there's a black market?
It can be turned into methane. It can be turned into methane gas.
I do that regularly. Yeah, Dan, be sure to sit close to Steve so he doesn't crap you out of the video. That's a good point.
I can't. I'm so annoyed.
Mario wants us to call him at the end of the show to settle this.
We can't now. We got to play the political hit ad that's been put out on me.
Well, we can play that at the end.
I posted a video yesterday on my Twitter of Fran Brown answering a question that I asked, and he wasn't in the video because when we got it,
Paulie wasn't, or Fran wasn't?
No, he wasn't. Paulie. Mario zoomed in so that it would just be Fran when we aired it on Channel 9.
I see.
And so when I copied it over to put it on Twitter, you could see me, but you couldn't see Paulie. And he's saying that I purposely did it to leave him out there. So that's what he's talking.
He's embarrassed to me.
And that's not true. It was an honest, I had no idea there was even.
I believe Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Steve's genuine.
See, he believes.
Steve's genuine. I believe Steve.
He's a terrible person. Number two.
What was
the
number
Billboard
2? I didn't
charts
hear it.
history for Weird Al. Eat It is number 2.
What's the number one Weird Al song?
Come on, stop.
I know what it is.
All right, good.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah,
though.
Stop. We'll find out together.
I don't think it's what you think it is.
It's apparently
say
not,
that.
because I thought this was it. I thought Eat It was number one.
Yeah, just relax. We'll get to it next segment.
It's going to be one that I've forgotten about. I'll be like, oh, yeah, right.
Can I give him a hint?
No hints, nothing.
You can tell me off air. It's fine.
Okay.
You're the word.
I'll write it
This
on a
is
piece of
where you
paper.
get the cheater. You can't.
I'm not cheating. Why am I cheating? I'm trying to guess the number one song.
He knows the answer. He's going to tell you that is cheating.
But it's not like there's a prize. What is he winning? Is he?
I know.
He just can't not know when everybody else finds out.
I seek knowledge. I'm seeking knowledge.
Well,
right
you'll
now.
find out when everybody else does.
Okay.
I'm going to seek my
I want to
fist.
know if he's right.
Jeez.
I want to know if he's right.
Oh, okay.
Well, write it down, and I'll look after. We'll do it like the Karnak.
So it can't be Smells Like Nirvana.
All right, stop.
And
You're
it can't be.
cheating
No,
again.
I'm reading the chat. They're guessing songs that we already played because I would have thought of both of those as well, but those aren't the right answers.
Do you know what the best Weird Al song is? It's not going to be number one. I just
Yoda.
want to say, no. I want to say this. It's The Good Old Days.
Another one rides the bus?
No, The Good Old Days. I just said The Good Old Days. It's on the Fat album. It's it's not a parody. It's just a song he wrote, but it's a good song.
Was there an accordion in it?
Probably.
We already played Smells Like Nirvana and Amish Paradise.
I know. So I was reading the chat, and I was saying that I would have thought of those as well.
Right.
Those aren't the right
find
answer.
out.
You'll find out in 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Just relax.
I thought it would be Like a Surgeon, Eat It, and Amish Paradise would be the top three. And
Right.
Amish Paradise was not in the top three.
What was Amish Paradise?
It was like, what, fourth or fifth?
Paulie seems stressed today. What are we doing to him?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know why we just can't wait.
We can.
Isn't it?
It's fun to guess the number one, I think.
Okay, but we've already done it, and you're wrong, and let's move on.
Okay.
Dan, what's going on in your restaurant?
Let's talk baseball cards.
Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic coming in. What do you want to talk about? What's up?
What's going on? Anything? Anything?
Syracuse football tomorrow's big, right?
Yeah, huge.
I was
Huge
listening
game.
to the beat writer for Pittsburgh on the way in.
Yeah, huge game.
He thinks it's going to be a close game.
Good timing for you guys, right? 7:30.
7:30 Thursday.
Oh, right. Well, it's during the week, but
it's a good time.
Yeah.
And there's really, the World Series doesn't start till Friday, so we don't have to compete with that.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great time, but it's a Thursday. If I had my druthers, I'd say 7:30 on a Saturday is better.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Or Friday,
Okay.
but
Well, I think if Virginia Tech and Pitt or Syracuse both win, you'll get that 7:30 game next Saturday. Or
There's been a lot
8
of talk about that
with the ACC crew coming.
Yeah, you think it'll be a night game?
Yeah,
if Syracuse wins on Thursday
and Virginia Tech wins, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Virginia Tech's already got 3 losses, so they gotta win.
it is very
To make it more
frustrating. They
attractive.
don't announce the times for people that may or may not run businesses and try to plan things.
it's frustrating for everybody's life.
Yeah,
like
it
even
is.
fans.
For fans too.
you're like, I want to know how to spend my Saturday.
Right.
I guess that's important too. I'm just looking at it like if I take a party and there's 100 people and we do it at noon thinking the game's going to be at 3:30 or 8 and then they drop it at noon.
Yeah.
It kind of
sure
cuts you a little bit.
We're just all eating out of television's hands.
Right.
Just little birds.
And I get it. They want the most attractive matchups
Eat
and the
whatever
best
they
time
want.
slots.
I totally get it too.
I understand, but it's it can be
But
frustrating.
they don't do that for basketball as much. Like basketball schedule's out.
Yeah, and the times are out.
95% of the times are out.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. I think part of it too is that there's so many games, right, with basketball, whereas football, it's
That's true.
You play 12 in
Too
a regular
logical.
season.
It's too logical.
Booking a lot of Christmas parties?
Yeah, we're pretty up there with parties. Offsite stuff too. Have we talked about offsite?
Oh
how
no, but
important it is?
are you?
I think we're doing an
catering
offsite
stuff?
party for you actually.
Oh,
I don't know if you even know about that.
No.
Breaking news.
Maybe
We're
it was
breaking
a
all sorts of
surprise.
news on this
It
show.
was anything, but yeah, offsite's
For me
great.
personally?
For you, in Indy.
Just to honor you.
Steve trying to make up for cropping me out of the interview. He's gonna.
I do not believe for 1 second that was intentional.
Thank you, Dan.
I don't either.
I know Steve not super well, but well enough to know that he's genuine and he's got integrity.
I don't
think he's
either.
gonna screw you.
I don't either, but I also know what makes good radio, and it's been probably the funnest 2 hours of my life. Just busting Steve's chops.
All right.
Thankfully, it's almost over.
Another 20 minutes.
And then Paulie's going away for a couple of days, and we're not together again until Monday.
I thought maybe you wouldn't be here today.
No, it's a late game, so I'm going to drive tomorrow
morning?
Yeah.
He's already said he's not coming in Friday, so no Paulie Thursday or Friday.
Well, 7:30 game over at 11.
Yeah, unless I can get Tim Leonard to I got to drive him. So if he wants to get up at 6 a.m., we can hit the road early.
On Friday morning.
Yeah.
What's about 5
That's all
hours?
right.
to the
You know
stadium?
what? Just take your time. Just enjoy.
Prop myself out of the show on
just
Friday.
Sleep in a little bit. I mean, you are sleep deprived. You're running a sleep deficit. So, sleep in a little bit. Take your time. No rush to come back.
Okay.
Any good baseball cards?
I bought a couple of packs in breaks for update and didn't even get a Skeens. No, I bought a update hobby box that was absolute trash.
Bad collation.
Yeah, a lot of repeats.
And they
in the
weren't
same box.
They weren't Skeens. And
No.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I'm not happy with my life right now, and
why not?
It's because of baseball cards.
Really?
Yeah, I'm stopping buying and I'm getting them all great. I'm using my money on grading them.
Okay. He's told me that before, that he stopped buying.
But I still buy.
It'll suck them back in, yeah.
Yeah, I just went and dropped $150 at the card shop on a hobby box.
And you got nothing?
No.
The auto wasn't any good either?
No.
Or you didn't get the auto? Did you get the relic?
I got an auto, but it was of someone who's like 40 years old.
Hunter Goodman?
A 40-year-old rookie.
Yeah, 40-year-old rookie. Those are always command top dollar.
Yeah. So that's my life in the card world. Any bands playing?
No more bands the rest of the year. That's breaking news. We had a band last weekend, but it's just with parties and whatnot and regular business. We're taking a step back on bands.
And last week I had brought up I wanted to make a pizza, and
that was a great idea.
I remember what it is that I want to make.
It was a good idea.
We missed it last year for we missed it last year for Christmas. I want to make the Christmas dinner leftover pizza.
I like the one last week we were talking about was chicken teriyaki.
Yes, that was it. That was a great idea.
I think that is a much better
like
idea.
A permanent menu.
We did the leftovers for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, now I want to do the Christmas. What's
the difference? Ham,
cranberry pasta.
Sauce?
No.
What do you have at Christmas? You don't have it.
Ham, pasta, brajol. I'm gonna literally bring my family's leftovers and just put more mozzarella on top of it. Ham, pasta, brajol. A little bit.
Said that. All right. Okay.
A little bit of everything. I've been wanting to do that.
Okay. You might need to do like double crust or something.
Maybe make it into a calzone.
You did a calzone once, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you liked that. Was it into s'mores calzone?
I can do the teriyaki too.
The teriyaki is a very good idea.
I like that.
I don't remember whose idea that was, but that's a good idea.
I think it was in the chats.
Yeah.
Let's try that one.
Why don't you come out and shoot a little video and do it?
All right, we'll do one now and then one around right after Christmas.
Okay.
I like that. I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you,
Dan.
It's a Phillies shirt. I know it surprises everybody.
What's the clover though?
Just the
Good luck.
Shamrock.
Yeah. For Ireland.
Yeah, sure.
I'd probably wear.
Well, what's the connection with the Phillies?
I don't know.
You don't know, but it's nice.
Well, the Phillies wear a green uniform every St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Maybe
sushi pizza. That's a good idea.
I like Jordan's sweater.
Yeah, I did too.
By the way, Jordan's mom bought him a sweater and everybody loves it.
Yeah, you and Jordan both looking sharp today. And Fran Brown was looking sharp yesterday on the show. You and I just
I went up to
Steve, you look sharp.
I put my Jordans. I put my Jordans on, and I went to the Coach Brown show last night. And I go, "Hey, I followed you. I put my Fresh J's on." And then I go, "Steve didn't know what Fresh J's were," and he started laughing.
I wouldn't know.
Thanks, Paulie. Appreciate
what
that.
are Fresh J's?
Jordans.
I'd never heard of them.
I wouldn't have known that.
I'd never heard of them referred to as such.
So I got the coach to laugh.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
I still call them tennis shoes.
Steve's got the fresh MBs.
MB?
New Balance.
Oh, MB.
I was like, what? Yeah, funny. You're a funny guy, Paulie.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right, let's take a time out. When we come back, apparently there's a new political ad that's been sold to ESPN Syracuse.
You won't want to miss this. And we get to find out the number one Weird Al song. So
yeah, apparently somebody's running for office and they've done horrible things in their lives.
Yeah, I look forward to this. Yeah, stay tuned. You're gonna want to hear it as you're driving away, Dan. Make sure you tune in. All right, we'll wrap up the show.
Sounds like a jerk.
Back after this on ESPN Radio. Okay.
You're going to know in 4 minutes.
But I can't wait. I want to know. I want to know. ahead of
You
time.
are such a spoiled brat.
Yeah, thank you.
It's my half birthday. It's a microwave world. Everybody wants it super fast.
All right. I can wait. I'm gonna walk out. I don't even care what it is.
Okay, goodbye.
See you, Dan.
See you, Dan. You must be a nightmare around Christmas.
You know what? I'm not. Like, I don't
wanna
try
see
to
your
find
gifts?
out. No, I don't. But my daughter is like that. In fact, that's how she
Wonder where
learned.
she got it from.
That's how she learned that Santa. Okay.
You don't
fine.
say that out loud.
Okay.
What if someone's watching?
Okay.
My goodness.
What?
Oh my God.
What? Let me see.
Oh my God. It's like Back to the Future.
That's funny.
That's a good one, Ryan.
That is outrageous.
I've become a candy corn guy.
Yuck. That's like eating butter.
I don't
but
even
wax.
like it that much. It's just there. And, you know, it's never offensive enough to where the next time I walk by, I don't want to grab it.
See, this is why I don't think you crop me out, because that's what it would have looked like if you did it on TV. I like that you didn't delete the award. You're just floating there.
Steve wouldn't have cropped you out. He would have like covered you with something. It would have just been like another picture of Josh Allen.
It's to him standing next to himself. 2 awards. Yeah, that's a hot take that candy corn is goated.
Who said goated?
CJC.
Do you really believe that, Chris?
Or are you just trying to be edgy?
Because I don't think it's goated. It's just there.
So Latavia's tomorrow at 1. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
All right. And you want me to see if I can get him on video, right?
Yeah. We can do the match game since it's game day. And I think Mike will have to do Paulie's match game. See about the picks. I think we still do the picks Friday, maybe. I don't know. I don't like doing the picks Thursday. Because Thursday Night Football is like our wholesome, we're not picking.
Should I just insert this like it's a commercial? Play it. Just randomly play it.
I think our advertisers would be kind of mad, though, that you're taking up their space.
I wouldn't take up their space.
Can I be honest? Hand up. I hate to do it to you. Hand up. Hate to do it. It really triggers me that sound. It's like the same as the Q Sports Talk liner. Every time it triggers me.
The number 1 all-time Weird Al song, White and Nerdy.
I would not have guessed this. I obviously didn't guess this.
Ow.
Number 1
of all time.
It's probably because you don't have to like ever look at yourself during the show, so it doesn't come up.
White and Nerdy.
Everybody's coming at me today.
Yeah, this song was written about you. Maybe you've blacked it out. Traumatic.
I'm sorry.
All right. So apparently,
I promise I'll ask interview questions tomorrow.
Apparently, this is what people at work do when they're supposed to be working in our office.
Paulie Sibilia was seen kicking puppies, stealing from old ladies, microwaving fish at work, abusing his employees, stealing office chairs, telling unfunny jokes, touching the ice tray with his bare hands, mistreating his co-host, playing terrible songs, not shaving, visiting Disney World by himself. What kind of a creep does that? Paulie Sibilia wants to be in charge of ESPN Radio. Can we really afford to make Paulie Sibilia operations manager?
The campaign to reject Paulie Sibilia is responsible for the content of this ad.
Vote for anyone but Paulie Sibilia. I'm an and I approve this message.
Did you write that, Steve?
Just the last line. No, I did not write that, but it's very effective advertising because he's got whoever's running against you has my vote.
You know what? The guy. You know what the funny part about that is the guy who wrote it actually is notorious for stinking up the whole office with the microwaving the fish. So he's what do they call that? You're projecting. All right, your artist of the day vote. Linkin Park, Boyz II Men, The Kinks, or Monica. I don't know if Monica's got a lot of hits. Yeah, I think she does.
Just one of them days. I love Boyz II Men. You know this, so I will take Boyz II Men. Motown Philly was like my jam in high school.
Jordan.
Like Boyz II Men doesn't feel like a game day vibe, but I need brownie points being with Steve tomorrow.
They're very slow. There are a lot of slow songs.
Can you do like a mix of like Boyz II Men and Monica? I'd be in.
It's up to him. He's not.
I'd be in like an hour for each of them. That would be fun.
I might just play "Welcome to the Black Parade" out of nowhere. I'll vote Boyz II Men, so then I can just literally do whatever I want tomorrow.
Okay, there you go.
It might not even be music. I might just, play different noises. I might do like TV theme songs. I might do like
do whatever you want.
calls.
I don't care. Just don't crop me out of the show.
All right.
I might just rejoin in silence.
We got to go, thankfully. We've got Newhouse Afternoons coming up next. Cody at 3, Brian at 4. We are back at noon tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.